This is the Fujifilm Instax Wide Evo, a hybrid instant camera that's digital when you need it, yet somehow still manages to capture the magic behind film photography. So something like this old Fujifilm camera is what you would generally associate with an instant camera. There's really no screen on it, there's no memory. All you do is point, snap the picture, the photo prints out, and it only gets revealed once that photo is exposed. Now, some would consider this to be the only form of true instant photography, but it could be very wasteful on film, which can get quite pricey. Now, this device aims to solve those problems. It is still an instant camera, but there is some memory on board here. You could also add a micro SD card. It has a screen. It has a 60mm wide angle lens. You could go around, take pictures of whatever you want. That picture gets stored on your memory, and then you can go through your photos. You can scroll through all the pictures you've taken. And then if you see a picture that you really like, you pull out this crank to the side. It's really amazing. The pictures that you can print with this camera look fantastic. That wide angle lens does a great job at contributing to the retro and nostalgic feel of these pictures. With a 60mm focal length, you can get a lot in the shot. And some of these pictures can really only be taken with a camera like this. And this is the photo that we just took. It takes around 90 seconds for the pictures that are printed to expose. And it uses the Fujifilm Instax Wide film, which goes for around $20 for 20 prints. So you're looking at about $1 per print. As for the camera itself, under that lens cap, we have that 60mm lens. And down here, you can see that there's a switch, which I can switch between the wide angle. And then there is a digital crop 28mm lens, which actually just takes the picture that you have and crops it. So it's more like a portrait picture. Up here we have a mirror, and apparently whatever fits in that mirror will actually fit in the picture itself. The shutter button is placed up at the front right here. It's a little bit awkward to get used to, but once you get a hang of it, it gets pretty easy. You have to hold it down just a little bit for it to focus, and then when you push it fully down, it actually takes the picture. On the other side, I have my screen and a few buttons on the bottom. If I click on the play button on the very left, it actually switches between my viewfinder and then back to my gallery. And then the knob on the left of that will actually let me scroll through my gallery and view the pictures that I've taken. On the very right, you can see that there's a menu button. If I click on that, it opens up a bunch of other tools to actually change the settings on this photo. I can rotate it, I could zoom, I could change the print quality if I want to print it, and so on. And then there's a delete button, and that's really about it for the gallery. I'm gonna go back to the viewfinder, and I'm actually gonna add a subject here. So on the left and the right side, we have two knobs. The knob on the left side will actually add an effect to our picture. And once we select an effect, we could actually twist the lens up front. And what that does is it actually changes the value of the effect. So you can get a lot going on over here. Now, once I select an effect that I'm happy with, the knob on the right side will actually change my Fujifilm film simulation. So we have all of the ones that you're used to if you actually use Fujifilm devices like Velvik and the standard, magenta, and so on. And you can actually add these up. You can select out of the 10 on the right and then the 10 on the left to come up with around 100 variations. And then on top of that, you could actually change the effect level by twisting the lens. While in the viewfinder, you could press the menu button, and that actually brings up your exposure settings that you can set. You can also set a self timer, as well as set your flash. You can set your white balance, and then a macro setting, which doesn't really do much from my testings. And then we have a bunch of more detailed settings, which includes options from face detection all the way to print quality, print brightness, date and time, and everything else that you might expect. And then we have one last button on the top, which allows us to set a final filter on our picture. So we have a cinematic look, which actually just crops the top and bottom. We have a date stamp, which I really like, sets a date on the bottom right of your picture, and then a few more to choose from. Fujifilm also provides an app for this camera, which gives you access to features like remote shooting, being able to go through pictures that you've already printed, but also gives you access to a specific feature that really changes how you can use this device. Through the app, you can actually upload images from your phone and then print them on this device. So essentially, this is a photo printer that you can carry around with a nice lens up front, a screen in the back, and internal memory for you to store your pictures. I really don't have too many bad things to say about this camera. It delivers on what it's supposed to do, providing one of, if not the best instant camera experiences on the market right now. My only negative feedback would be how bulky it is. I really don't like the form factor here, and the weight, which comes in about 540 grams, which is way too heavy to carry around in my opinion. And finally, the price. This goes for around $350 in the US, and that's almost double its smaller cousin, the Instax Mini Evo, which shares almost all the same features of this camera except the wide-angle lens and this awesome little crank on the side. And on top of that, it comes in a much smaller form factor. I think for a lot of people, that might be a better buy, but that doesn't mean that this doesn't serve a purpose. I think this is an awesome camera which you will most likely not regret buying. Thanks for sticking around. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe for more.